Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. I pray that all is well and you all are in the best of health and spirits. It is your sister, Denise Renee Muhammad, along with my brother, Sean Ali. And we are coming on today for another episode of our Health and Wellness Power Hour. So as you come in, go ahead and share the video. Share the video. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And our topic today is how to love self and others. How to love self and others. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Sean. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. All is well.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's good.
Okay.
It's good
Yeah.
right now. All right. Yeah, so our topic today, how to love self and others. I'm
Yeah.
excited about this topic. Self love is the best love. Got to start with self.
Well,
Got to
yeah,
start with
true
self.
that. True that. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, we can't say we love anybody or even God if we don't love ourselves first. You know, self love, self care. This is a great topic to get into because the things that we do to ourselves, it shows that we don't love ourselves,
Mm,
the
true.
things that
True.
people do.
True. 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 True.
So what do we need to do to cultivate that self-love? Where do you think it starts, Brother Sean?
And that's a great question. And of course, there's going to be some great answers. And we'll be looking at that. It's all relative to what a person believes and thinks and all of that good stuff. And that's all good. So it's never really a clear cut, definitive answer. Because we all have different cultures, different backgrounds, different
Right.
belief systems that create, who we are and what we are. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
the further you go back, you don't really even see the concept of love because there's no alternative. You know what I mean? So it's only in modern recent times that we have these alternative mindsets and ideas about ourselves and others.
Right.
So and we had to have these type of, but and that's something where it's like as you kind of said, it'll set the stage for what we do to and for ourselves.
Right.
You know, but and that's the because we're individuals. So you know what I mean? Like everybody doesn't want the same thing. Like if you have the totality of what we can do, everybody doesn't want the same things for themselves out of life, right?
Right.
That's where the difference is coming at in the potential conflict because we got potential life, but everybody doesn't want that. You know what I mean? So we could be on one frequency and see somebody on another frequency.
Right.
Love comes in when I can accept you for where you're at and not trying to change you. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
but I gotta feel that way about myself.
First. Yes.
As you said, as right. But that comes into how I see myself, how my perceptions about myself and things like who I think I am, or who I
Right.
don't think I am. You know what I mean? Like that's where because you gotta like what you love. You know, like it's it's a couple steps that precede love. If I don't like what I'm looking at, it's gonna be impossible for me to love
To love. Right.
it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense,
And
you know
that
what I mean? Because
comes with, yeah, the knowledge of self, knowing who you are. is that's where it starts. Because I
Exactly.
didn't love myself like I do now before I came into the knowledge of self, you know. So that I believe that's where it starts. Like
Exactly.
once you know who you are and where you came from and your creator, and man, it just that's what sparks it, you know.
Right. And that's into the that's in psychology. You know, that's the similarity between all of us that crosses over our different cultures and stuff like that. When we come out of
Right.
the womb, all of us are raised by other people. And then we get to a point where we're raising ourselves. And all of that sets the foundation for what would be considered self-love and love of others.
Hmm.
Because that first initial stage, we aren't in control of.
Right.
So our first initial introduction and stages of life is from other people. Everything
Hmm.
about us. And when you find that out, you might not like all of that stuff.
Right.
So in the love of you and yourself, you want to become what you want to become. So that could be meaning changing some of the stuff that other people gave to me. That doesn't mean I'm
Exactly.
ungrateful. That doesn't mean I don't love them. I don't like them. But that just means that I want to be who I want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where you see somebody who, when they introduce themselves, they have a different name than what somebody else gave. When they go to practice their religion, they have a different religion than what somebody else gave. They eat different food than what somebody else
Right.
taught them to eat. All of that is into the love of self.
Yes.
The knowledge of self.
The knowledge of self.
Right.
Yes.
Because I feel what you said I was. I mean, see, this is where conflict comes in at, though. People's first most this is where the conflict comes at, because I'm just simply in love with me and I'm trying to be me. But the other people that gave me who I was, they
Right.
don't like that. So now it's,
They're
oh, you think
offended.
you better. Right.
Yes.
And so now you don't even want to love yourself. You don't even want to be yourself, because you don't want to make the other people mad for changing what they started.
Right.
See, you see, see, so you stunt your growth, you stunt your love, and now your potential to love other people can only match what you can do for yourself.
Mm.
You might think you can love other people more, not, but in reality, that's not.
You
You
can't.
know,
Right.
no, right.
Right. And that goes into trying to people please, you know,
That's
in
where,
the
but that's where that comes from. When I'm trying to be me, and the people that made me who I was they don't know what's in my head. They just see me trying to be me, and they don't like that. Oh, you not. Oh, you not this. You don't do that.
right.
Oh,
You don't do
oh,
this.
what?
Right. I love myself more, so I'm not going to associate or, get into those old toxic ways, you know.
Right. But it comes from your family. It comes from your loved ones. It comes from the people that
Oh,
teach you how to love other people.
right. Always starts with family first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So
Yeah.
when you, but that's where to be who you want to be. That's where self love is really taught or stopped. Because if some parents allow their children to express themselves, you can see them. They be like, I let them pick out their own outfit, or I let them do this, or I let them do that. And other parents can be looking like, wow, you're a bad parent. Why would you let them? Where's the control? Where's the this? But see, that's a psychological understanding that no matter what I want you to be, your brain is going to try to be you.
Right.
So if I don't love myself and I don't have that in myself, I'm not going to have it with you. So when you try to be different tomorrow, oh, you changing on me? Oh, you, oh, you, oh, you, oh, you
Yes.
do now.
Oh, you
Oh,
think you better?
you do now.
Right.
See,
I'm striving to be better. Right.
but you see with the love and and when I'm not allowed to express my self-love and be who I want to be, it interferes with my interactions with each other. So we see these topics. You changed and you this and you're different. I'm
Right.
supposed to be.
Exactly.
I am supposed to change and be different. 52 years old. I'm not supposed to be like I was at 42,
Right.
32, 20. I'm supposed to change and be different.
Right.
But it's supposed to get better. You see, like
Right.
a lot of us are evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until we get to that eventual perfection. I love that scripture. You know, how we're supposed to evolve until we get to that eventual perfection. Because if we keep on, striving on that path, the goal is perfection.
Exactly. And
And
that's
in
where the
order to do
self-love
that,
comes
it
in.
starts with the self. Yes, exactly. The self-love. You got to love yourself to want to be better, to want to strive to stay on that path to that eventual perfection.
See, we don't have, and that's like, and that goes to challenge, without going, because I don't want to go, I want to keep it fun. But we go, that just goes into, like I said, the childhood birthing we parents get together and have children just for whatever reason. So you could be the product of an not love. You know what I mean? Like like some of us are coming into this world without love because our parents didn't love each other. They just did the act that got us here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now when we're growing and developing, we're mixing that. There's no oxytocin being developed in us. There's no ideas and formulas of love being passed on to us. We have to figure it out and just go on our own. And that's even with us, not even other people. Because these people, they don't see love in us. Some of us come into that world where we're not that product of love. So it's like we don't never get to self-love and love of us. We're just dealing with life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is where me coming in and me, like the books that we have, the writing books, the going into your self-work, writing letters to your older self, to your new self. This is where all of these concepts come into play because they give you a chance to like you.
Yes.
See, like, because a lot of us don't, I don't like my hair. We see the things we want to change first versus seeing the things that, hey, I kind of like
that's good. Right. Right.
Yeah.
We want to go to we say the poor part of the planet Earth.
Exactly. But that's from a lot of that. Like I said, it starts with how we come into the world. You feel what I'm saying? So you can tell a person that was a product of love versus one who wasn't. You know what I mean? But even still, you could be a product of love and you always want to define. That's just your nature. So when you don't get that chance to define yourself, don't get that chance to really create self-love. But you can define you at any age. It doesn't just have to be when you're a child, because we're still children. You know what I mean? Like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it takes 75 years to learn how to live.
Learn how to
So
live.
at 52,
That's right.
I'm still defining me.
Yes.
But every time I do, I fall deeper in love with myself. Ooh.
Right. That's beautiful. Yes.
Man, we got 206 bones. That's 206 different ways to love yourself. You feel like it's but if you don't know and you don't practice, it's not just about knowing. Because if I don't practice what I know, I'm not creating habits. Knowing something doesn't create a habit. Doing something more than one time creates a habit.
Right.
See, so if I practice,
Gotta be doers of the word.
right. So if we practice defining myself, if I practice, these methods of making myself attractive to myself, because that's what catches you, the attraction, right?
Right.
From the attraction, you got all of but if you not attracted to, you gonna fall in love. How you gonna fall in love with something you're not even looking at?
Look at the man in the mirror. Right.
If the only time you can look at yourself is when you done up, male or female, when you done up, then that's a lack of self. You know what I mean? Like it's something missing in that picture.
Right. And Brother Sean, I want to take a moment to recognize our listener, Sister Laurie, Elevated Places Farms, and Sister Akila are tuned in. Sister Laurie says, practice definitely makes improvement. Yes, ma'am. And thank you all for tuning in.
Exactly. And it's nothing more healthier or better or stronger that we can practice than self-love. Because as you said, sister, that's going to set the stage for how I treat myself.
Yes. And how you treat others.
Right. And that's the Holy Quran, fasting is prescribed so we can safeguard against the doing of evil to self and others. You know what I mean? So it's like when we practice these, but how do you practice self-love? You know what I mean? Like, how do you practice exercise, eating right, getting sunlight, getting rest, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not doing these things, that's how you can tell if you love yourself. The healthier you are striving to make yourself, that means you want to keep yourself here.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up that point. Sister Laurie says, as the minister says, repetition brings the point home. Right. Repetition. Yes. So I was reading the article in the Final Call, How to Eat to Live article. And you brought up that point, and I wanted to read this. That the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. He says, the earth is full of food, but good health cannot enter our bodies until we have the proper food in the body and the proper food for thought. If we do not have the proper food for our way of thinking, we still cannot enjoy peace, good health, joy, and gladness of heart. So we can eat all the proper food, we can do that, but if we don't have that proper food for thought, that's so powerful.
And that's what we're trying to do here. Give some, because like I said, it's not a one way. The culture you come from is going to determine your lifestyle. You know what I mean? So we know that there's something called epigenetics, and that's the outside influence on our genetics or DNA development. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's environment, that's your wealth, that's your if you exercise, where you live at, that's everything that can have an effect on how we grow and develop. But when we look at all of these factors, self-love is going to determine if you keep yourself safe. Like if you love yourself, you're going to safeguard yourself. So if you look
Yes.
at all of these epigenetic factors that can have a detrimental effect on us, if you love
Hmm.
yourself, you're going to try to correct that. You're going
Right.
to like, because you want to you want to be in yourself as long as you can.
Yes.
See, see that's the because everything should be revolving around how long I live. All everything else is, man, you're gonna go through ups and downs. There's no stopping to that because you don't know what
Right.
somebody else is going to do or what's going to happen that could potentially upset you. So we're not trying to. It's no abracadabra. Oh, I'm never gonna get upset. That's crazy.
Right.
How long you stay upset now, that's what we I mean, but
Yes.
so when we're looking at this topic, we trying to keep it like really real. Because it's not about how good I look, how good I make myself look. It's about how long I keep myself here in this body.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the root of self-love. Because if I love myself, I'm going to stay here, not as long as I'm going to stay here as long as I want, not as long as I can, because I'm going to eliminate that because I'm going to do all of the things that
That
they say
brings
will keep
life.
this body healthy.
Yes. Absolutely. And what we
Setting
listen to, what we, expose as it says in the Bible, guard your spirit. That's a command. Guard your
exactly.
spirit.
That's the
Yes.
epigenetic factors. All of it, that what you just
Come on
described,
now.
that's right. So that the
Yes.
Bible is saying, hey, safeguard because all of these things it's not if they're going to influence us, it's how.
How?
Right? Because air influence and if you every different environment you go into, it's going to be a different influence.
Yes.
Right. But
Yes.
I set the stage for how strong I am with self-love. You see, like you feel like they asked the minister, when he goes into different places, he's like, I bring my environment with me. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't have to worry about where I go because
Right. He he infects the environment, not the vice versa.
exactly.
And that's how we all should walk around, carrying our environment and being that influence on the environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And love is the strongest emotion. I mean, you
Mm.
know what I mean? So when we looking at that, it's like that's that is the strongest of any emotions.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the highest frequency, love
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
authenticity. Actually,
Yeah.
they say authenticity is higher than love because that's when you really are accepting your own and being yourself.
I don't have a problem with that.
Wow.
I mean, I
Being
I
yourself.
use the language of the people because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that our brains are created right. So it
Exactly.
wasn't until we started to think wrong that we even had we needed these words. Because I didn't have any other emotion but love. I didn't have any thoughts but to be good and do righteous. It wasn't until we began to decline and fall that now we're having these discussions love, hate, right, wrong, up, down, left, right. Well, hold up.
Right.
This is only a blip. So we could work some things out and get back to how we were. So I'm not getting myself too invested in these levels of this world because they're based on this world. The original people, the original man. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet, God of the
Right.
universe. Man, come on, man. We ain't small time, we've been here for trillions of years. We've been up, down, all around. We searched for that mystery God for trillions of years. When we said ain't no God but us.
That's right.
So what we are experimenting now is just the last stages of emptying us out so we can feel brand.
Right.
Right. So the languages that we use sometimes, we use them with the understanding that it's just for right here, right now. Tomorrow is going to be brand new. Man, we ain't next week. We ain't even gonna remember this. Like this stuff, because we are in our time. Black people, see, we're coming out of being raised by our open enemies. See, me and you in our age group, we are the last. Our children, they're not like us. Our children, they don't think like us, they don't act like us, so they aren't under the grip like we in our grade age group was with our open ended. They're
Right.
not doing a lot of white people stuff like we do. So what we are seeing with them is the beginning of the new black people, because they're not like white, they're not like us, which is
Right.
good, because we are the old people that had to wander around in the wilderness until we died
Trying to
off. So
figure it
they
out.
could
Right.
no. That's us. We the old people, man.
They say the last of the Mohicans.
you know so we the one that keep this language and these actions alive because we mimic white people. We mimic their relationship. We mimic what they do. We're speaking their language. We're in their culture. So we're going to get their results.
Right.
You know what I mean? But out shows like this where we try to crack our own code. Like, oh man.
Yes.
For us, by us.
Right. Yes, Sister Laurie says the children now are fearless. That's true. That's
And they're
that's
almost
why they have that
loveless.
song. They not like us.
Right. But they're almost loveless. See, we're under the romantic. That's foolishness. That romantic stuff. We never, if the further you go back, you just didn't see a woman or a man and say, oh, I'm in love with you. No. We had tribes and villages. So when my daughter, hey, she's gonna marry your son. They grew up together. They were raised growing up together. They knew they was going to get married, and they weren't going nowhere. We was going to build them a hut right next to us. And then when their children, so that's how we lived. That's how we populated. It wasn't no lust. It wasn't no wonton this. It wasn't no, oh, I saw them and no. So we had different mindsets. We are the romance. We want that romance and dates and this. We do that. That's white people stuff. That's not love. That's not the characteristics of love.
Right.
Because that allows you to do anything with anybody. And that's not how we always live.
Exactly. Yeah. And Allah came to make all things new. So we're coming coming out of that.
I'm ready. I'm,
Yes.
I'm ready. Listen, if you eat to live, if you exercise, you get some rest, get some sunlight, and you do those
Right.
things, some aromatherapy, you will make your body will have no choice but to be healed and healthy and strong. Your
Exactly.
body will have no choice but to be healed, healthy, and strong. Now, let me tell you something. If you have a healed, healthy, and strong physical body, you won't have no choice but to laugh and be happy.
Right.
Listen, man. Listen, man. You ain't because you won't be in pain, you won't be in anguish, discomfort. So the only emotions you will be ever having is happiness, love, peace, joy, just like that, which you read from the final call, sis.
Yes. Yes. And another thing he said, this is what man has sought, the heaven within and the heaven
Mm,
without. If heaven
mm.
does not begin within, we will never enjoy it on the outside. We do not go to a certain place for heaven. Nearly all of my followers and I are already in heaven, a peace of mind and contentment for the necessities of life, such as food, clothing, shelter, and without the enemy of fear and grief, and with the protection of Almighty God Allah. What more do we want?
Exactly. Exactly. What more do you
And he
want?
said, without the fear of grief, without the enemy of fear and grief.
Oh,
That's
yep,
heaven. Sit yourself in heaven at once.
yep. It's a condition of your mind that's
Exactly.
inside of your body. If you don't
Yes.
like your body, if your body is weak and unhealthy, you're not going there, right? Because you're
Exactly.
spending your time trying to fix this.
Right.
Right?
That's powerful.
Right. So let's go ahead and get the healed, healthy, strong. So let's make it attractive to you, right? Because the Honorable
Right.
Elijah Muhammad and How to Eat to Live, he says you probably won't want to live into the thousands of years because you won't have anything to attract
Anything
you.
to
Your
attract you.
first attraction is yourself.
Mm, good point.
You feel what I'm saying?
Look in the
Because
mirror and love yourself. Hug yourself. Give yourself that oxytocin.
right, because you're going to want to stay here. You might not have a partner. You might not have children here with. You might be in a situation where you're not a loner, but you are by yourself. Okay, so if you are attracted to yourself, that's going to keep you waking up, doing all the healthy stuff, so you can go ahead and wake up again tomorrow.
Right.
You can see the domino effect. Man, you look at when you first wake up, bam, you don't see yourself because you're not in front of the mirror. You see, then when you usually one of the first images we see of not our spouse is ourselves in the mirror.
Hmm.
When you see that reflection, that's your motivating factor for that day. Mm,
Wow. That's it. That's deep.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I practice for myself.
Right.
That's what I do for myself. So I keep myself shaved, I keep myself groomed, I keep myself well kept for myself.
Yes.
Because a lot of times other people don't see. Like I'm not, like sometimes people don't see. The
All
only
right.
person that sees me is me.
Is you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right. That's beautiful.
Woo.
Yeah, it
Man,
all starts with self. It all starts with self.
all right, love you too, sir. Mom, take me.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
sir. So
oh,
we have to create our own, as the title of my book, Writing My Life, Creating My Mental Wellness. It's got to create your own mental wellness.
right. Yeah, see, and that's the love part, though. For me, for my like, because like you read it, that's your motivating factor. If
Right.
man, you know what we do for love of somebody else. Hey, what? You know the type of stuff I've done for love, man. Crazy stuff, man. If I tell y'all some stories, y'all be like, brother, you was crazy. But so that's for somebody else,
Right.
good and bad. You know, like I've done some good shit, I've done some bad. For that 4-letter word. And listen to me, man. So if that's what that those 4 letters can make me do for somebody else, how much more should it make me do for me?
Right. Do for
You know
self
what I mean? Like,
or suffer the consequences.
yeah,
That covers so much. Do for self. Gotta love self or suffer the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
consequences.
That's how I look at it, though. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, we do it for our children. We'll say, I'll die for my children, this and that, and all good things. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't doubt it, and because I would myself. So if we looking at it from that perspective, if I'm not as healthy as I can be, do I really love myself?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm not as strong as I can be, all right, son, love you. Do I really love myself? Because I'm looking at what I would do for you. Prince got a song, I would die for you. Hey, hey, Prince made a song off of that. That's why you can tell that's one of my favorite songs. I know
Right.
the song. Right.
I was listening to that the other day, actually.
Back when I was a player, I used to say, I'm gonna rap that to you because I ain't I'm telling you. Woo. So
Yes, indeed.
but that's the like I say, for those tuning in for the first time for our show, we like to give solutions, but it's a thought process. We like to cover all of the bases in the scope of things because all of us, we can have like diabetes. You got 10 people with diabetes and you can have 10 different ways that they got there.
Mm-hmm.
The medicine might help one, it might not help them. You know what I mean? Like, so when we're looking at some of these topics, like we come with the understanding that there's a lot of ways to approach this.
Right.
We're not saying we're going over as many as we know. So if you can find yourself in one of them, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, we trying to give all of the alternatives as we can because we want to help as many people as we can.
Exactly. Yep. Those that want to be helped.
Yes, yes,
Gotta
yes,
definitely want it.
yes. So look, this is your exercise. Get yourself together. Put on something that and then look at be attractive to yourself. Make yourself attractive to yourself because that's the first. You got the 2 stages of love. We have attraction
Mm-hmm.
and we have attachment. You know what I mean? Attraction is the first because you seeing that before you get any type of interaction. Any
Right.
interaction comes off of visuals. Cause I see, ooh, what's that? Who that is? You know what I mean? You know how we like that is. But, do that with add that type of feeling with yourself. You feel me? Like,
Yes.
yeah, not because you're going somewhere, not because you're going to do something. Put it together for you so you could be like, man, and yeah.
Right. Yes.
And then you
And just
practice.
thinking,
Uh,
we can you okay. Yes, I was dang it, lost my train of thought. Um just thinking about, we are all the manifestation of Allah's mind. And we if you just really think about that, why wouldn't we love ourselves if we're the manifestation of his thoughts?
yeah, that's a great way. That's
That's
what I'm saying. That's like it's more reasons to be in love than it is to not.
right.
Yeah, man. Because we are awesome. I mean, and I don't knock any other people, but if you're black, oh my gosh, I mean, like, 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 like you should have every reason in the world to love yourself. Don't look at what other black people are doing because that's different. We talking to they could still love themselves. We're talking about if our own self love because that will determine how healthy I am, how long I live, and the quality of my life.
Right.
That's see, we getting past all of the rigmarole. Let's okay, the nuts and bolts is self-love is the motivating factor, how healthy I am, how long I live, and the quality of my life. So I can take those three areas and I can see how much I love myself and how much I need to improve. If
True.
I'm not as healthy as I can be, I know I need to improve it. I need to improve my self-love. If I'm not living as long as I can, I need to start with self-love. If the
Yes.
quality of my life isn't the best that I know it can be, let me get some self-love.
Right.
Not what I had. Not none of that. It's these three things that money cannot buy. We cannot supplement. We either are loving ourselves and doing it
Mhm.
or we're not.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you all need some assistance with that, we have Brother Sean and I both have books on this topic.
Yes. Yes.
Workbooks that'll help you, that's my book, Writing Your Life, Creating Your Mental Wellness. It's a workbook actually. So you can journal and write your thoughts, affirmations
Mm-hmm.
to cultivate that self-love.
And get your aromatherapy.
Oh
Because
yes, definitely.
everything is based on sales. So if you are stuck on a part of yourself or parts of yourself that you don't like, you you need to satisfy yourself about that. You know what I mean? 'Cause some of the
Right.
stuff we can't change, like our nose, our butt, it'll be features that we can't change, or you will have to do some drastic measures to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that unlock that by so you can be unlock that satiety. So when you're looking at that part of your body that you don't like, you can produce satiety about it and get over it. Woo! Listen.
Yes, sir. And one oil that helps, there's rose oil, rose essential oil. It helps to helps you with that love of self. It's one of those oils that's soothing, that just helps you, appreciate you. You can't smell a rose and not just appreciate that. And then appreciate
Exactly.
yourself, you know.
Exactly. It'll help. That's what we're talking about. The techniques that help you to, because if you can become satisfied about the parts of you that you don't like, imagine what will happen to the parts of you that you do like. Man, come on.
Right.
What? 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 You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
man, yeah. Especially when they say turn your weakness into your strength.
Strength. Right.
Yup,
Yep.
yup, yup. Turn that in. So you take that which is the furthest away from self-love about you. Because we all got those things, where we like, dislike, I hate that about
Hmm.
me. You know what I mean? It's different degrees. So you
Right.
take that thing that's the furthest away from self-love in you, and that's where you take that aromatherapy and you take the books and you write and you
Mm.
and you are creating that atmosphere of satiety in you
Yes.
about. See what I'm saying? We ain't
Powerful.
on other, because that's how you get the other people. But you are creating satisfaction in you about you. Not
Mm.
about being overweight. Not about being unhealthy. We're not talking about
Right.
affirming and claiming unhealthiness. We're talking about, oh, I hate my eyes. I hate my hair. I hate my nose. I hate my things that you didn't create, and you just somebody put it, just your package you're in. We all got those things, right? So
Yes, sir.
we're right, right,
Yep.
yeah,
Getting that satiety.
yep,
And that's what the essential oils do. When you inhale it within 22 seconds, it goes to the limbic system of your brain.
yep. And
Your
man,
satiety.
listen, I know. Get
Yeah.
over yourself. Not get over it where that's sarcastic. Oh, get over it. No,
Right.
get over it meaning solve it, not put it away for it to come back up. Um, oh man, and you know what? Man, I love my hair, man. Oh man, you
Right.
know what? Man, I love my eyes, man. You know, go do that with each snip. Go through your body and fall in love. Make it be attractive
Mhm.
to who you are.
Yes.
Woo! Wee!
Who can love you more than you?
You know? So
Yes.
then now when you go to deal with other people, watch how more interactive and energetic and powerful those relationships can become, because you just turned up the notch, because you've unlocked yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now you become that.
Absolutely.
Let me
Self-love.
let me
Self-love.
love on myself. Let me love on. Let me take a love break. Let me love on.
Right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's like you said it earlier. Hug yourself and get some oxytocin.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have somebody else to hug you, hey man, you
Reach
got
out and
yourself.
hug yourself.
Sure. Like that's
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 right.
why I said you might not have nobody to get dressed up for. You got yourself. Get dressed up for yourself, man. Put it together. Man, man. So when you look at yourself, you like, damn.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said every time we step outside of our house, we should look like a picture.
Yup,
Be picture ready.
yup, yup, yup. That's how you're
Yeah.
gonna attract and
And even when
what
I
you
don't step outside of my house, sometimes I just, dress up for me. It just
yeah,
makes me feel good.
yeah, yeah. That's why I got the clothes. That's why they in the closet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can wear them. You know, and when I put them on, I'm putting that, I'm good. You know, like, man, yeah. You know, that's these are exercise. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because the question will always be after you hear something, where do I start? How do I start? You know what I mean? Like that's always the question that comes after you learn something. Okay,
Right.
how do I apply it?
How do I apply it?
And these are different because all of us aren't in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we going to like if this is your area, hey, bam. But the aromatherapy gonna help you no matter where you're at.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
across the
Another
board.
thing about rose essential oil, it helps to cultivate the feeling of self-worth and
Mm,
emotional balance.
mm,
The feeling of self-worth.
mm. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, I
So
can definitely see that
yeah.
happen. Yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
easy, just take the top off and inhale.
yeah.
If you don't have a diffuser,
Straight from the bottle.
straight. Yes, sir. Powerful.
Mm. Yeah, that's a that rose is definitely a high. What's that? 432
What's that? Rose?
rose.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 438.
Yes.
Yeah.
430s. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right
sir.
where love. What is love? The fruit love is like right around that
Right around
frequency.
there. Yeah.
Right. So we looking at the megahertz and hertz, the revolutions. So the hertz of the oil of the rose oil is very similar to that of love. So
Love.
when you are in that presence of that of the rose, your body is being put on that frequency. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So man, woo,
Yes, sir. And essential oils
powerful.
have the highest frequency. And rose is right up there. It's one of the highest.
Hmm. Yeah, because that's like the blood of the lifeline of the
The
plant.
life, right? The life blood of the plant. The essence. The essence.
Right. Spirit.
Yeah.
So when scripture says that God created man and breathed into him his spirit,
That's
and
it.
then man became a living soul,
Living.
that's the essential oils would be like the analogy, using that analogy, that would be like the essential oils of the plant.
Right.
That's the right. Because the plant is just the vehicle. It's what's inside
It's
of the
the,
vehicle that
come
makes
on
it.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are the vehicle for who?
Hey.
Come on. That's what.
Ah, man. Yeah.
Yes.
Good man. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Praise
And
be to
all of
Allah.
these things were taken out of the original people. We knew all of these things about ourselves prior to this war with our open enemy and them forcing us into the condition that we're in now. To
Right.
where we don't have any love. We don't know how to love, and that's that. So when we are looking at, okay, like you said earlier, this knowledge of self, and that being a part of the package of creating self-love. Because when I thought I was a nigga, nobody wanted to love a nigga. You know what I mean? Niggas don't want niggas. You know what I mean? So, but
Right.
if you know that you're God, that right there should turn the switch on. You know what I mean? Like if you know who you are and what you are, that right there should turn the switch on. Now I'm looking at the rest of me differently from that light, not from the previous light where I thought I was this and that. Now that I know who I am, when I look at myself,
Right.
I'm looking at myself from that perspective. So it's not just a hand, this is God. Man,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, God, I'm looking at.
Yes,
the hand
sir.
of God.
Healing hands.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
But that's how
Yes,
we
sir.
create. Yeah. That's how you change your perspective. Because we
Right.
can't go in and change the brain. We change, as you read from the final call, where the messenger talked about our mental and emotional and spiritual states going alongside with the physical, and how they interact with each other. And
Right.
your mind can make you sick.
Yes. That's right. Definitely can do that. What's the term for that?
Psychosomatic disorder.
Psychosomatic. Right.
You're making yourself sick. So, that's what we proficient in that.
Right.
We don't need no more practice in that. We are experts in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when he said the proper food for thought, I immediately thought about the essential oils because it goes directly to the brain and it's going to help you to think better. So if you need help with proper food for thought, diffuse or inhale those essential oils, help you to think better. Rosemary is good for mental clarity. Lemon oil is good for mental clarity. And it smells good. You can't smell lemon and not feel better or think better.
Yes. Immediately.
Right.
Almost instantaneous.
Yes.
Like, wow. It's like invigorating. And see, in these methods usually are for external sources. We are taking all of these resources and we are applying them internally.
Internal.
On myself, for myself, developing and creating that self-love. You feel me? So if I can use this to go do something external, I'm going to take that and I'm going to do the same thing with me. So I'm going to look at myself differently, better. I'm going to feel differently and better about myself and open. So now, like I said, when I go to look at me, I can love all of me instead of picking parts. You mean like, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because we do that with others. I'm picking parts on each other. Like, yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
Yes, sir. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. Brother Sean, can you hear me? All right, family. I believe Brother Sean's screen froze, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in to the Health and Wellness Power Hour We are here every Saturday, inshallah, at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you all want to purchase my book, Writing My Life, Creating My Mental Wellness, it is available on Amazon, and I'll drop the link in the comments. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. And we'll be back next week for another edition of the Health and Wellness Power Hour. Peace.